Hey now, it's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm joined as always by JD by God Oliva. How you doing, JD?
Solid, man. Solid. Busy.
Yeah, man. Both of us have been busy. We haven't really talked much.
No,
I
busy.
know. Today, I don't think we talked at all.
Not
So
well,
hey,
which is
swig of
odd for
Coke
a show
Zero.
day. Swing a
I
Coke
know. Swig
Zero.
of Coke Zero for the working man.
You have one of those
Yes.
days today, huh?
So I'm like, I drink a lot of caffeine in the morning, and then I try to have no caffeine in the afternoon all the way through the evening. But for me to have caffeine after dinner, that's when you know that I had kind of a tough day. So I had a little bit of a tough day at the office.
Yeah.
And I can't really get into it, but being a leader is difficult, and managing different personalities can be difficult. Managing personalities of young people who are at like 22, who this is their first job and they have left their home. They went off onto this adventure, and now they're working full time for the first time in their lives. They all of a sudden have to become adults, and the adults that they've been with their whole life are not here. So guess who that is? Me. So
Papa Mike.
yeah, Papa Mike. And then I have some folks over me too that I have to manage those personalities as well. So it can be difficult, and you don't always do the best, but you do the best you can. And so that's what I did, and had a tough day, but I'm here, man, here to do the show. I'm excited to talk about tonight's Impact, man. I would say it was eventful is not the word, but I feel loaded. Maybe loaded would be the word. Like there was a lot going on in this episode.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the better episodes I think we've had in a bit, to be honest with you. I liked it. I had qualms with it, but I thought on the whole it's better than the last couple weeks, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they saved up some stuff, because this was the go home for Victory Road, and so the last couple of weeks have been like not good, not bad, but just kind of existing. And then this one, I felt like they loaded it up with a lot of action tonight.
They did. Wrestling was good.
Yeah, and surprising considering who were in some of these matches. Which I will get to on BTI. Gisele Shaw beat Hyan. And that was talking BTI. Thank you, folks. Thank you for talking BTI. Do you know who this Hyan is, by the way?
Yeah, she's done a bit in the Midwest Indies, bunch of stuff for AAW out here in Chicago. She's all right. Okay. She's pretty good. Aren't they a tag team?
Gisele and Hyan?
Shaw and Hyan? Weren't they a tag? Am I thinking of something else?
Yep. You know what? I'm not educated on the independent women's scene, so that I'm not the guy. Yeah, I am not the barometer of who is famous in the world, and I am not the barometer of who is a good women's tag team on the independent scene. So I'm not the guy to ask.
Yeah, I'm such a nerd. I didn't know who anybody was who showed up on Dynamite last night. Like,
hey,
that's okay. Not for me.
I knew who Fabulous was. I
knew
who Fabulous was. So I was like, when Fabulous came out, I was like, oh gosh. And then I went to the one track that I have saved on my workout playlist from Fabulous from like 20 years ago. So I knew him.
What was Fabulous? What from 20 years ago? Might be
yeah, I can't deny it. I'm a fucking rider. You don't want to fuck with me.
Oh yeah, I do know that.
I can't think of the name of the track, but it's a good track. But I ended up looking it up because I couldn't remember the name of it. And then I was like, oh shit, so this morning when I didn't actually work out this morning, but when I went to work, that was the first track I listened to on the way to work. So that was cool.
Gotcha. No street cred for me, as Papa Garrett would say. None.
No. But hopefully I get some street cred from Papa Garrett, because here I am busting out some rhymes on a wrestling podcast wearing a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. I don't think anybody else on the network has that kind of swag. I don't think so.
No.
No, I'm busting out 90s hip hop lyrics wearing a 49ers jersey. I might as well be kissing Garrett's ass directly.
Brown nosing for points. I respect it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get into the show. I think this is going to be a quick episode tonight because so tomorrow night's Victory Road. I know JD's got a lot going on. So I think Saturday morning it'll be Coffee with Uncle Mike reviewing Victory Road, but I will get a chance to watch Victory Road at some point. And then when I do, I'll most likely do a solo review. And then I think we've got some big stuff coming up, coming down the pike here for this podcast here very soon, which we're excited to tell you guys. Once we get it all finalized, we're excited to tell you about. But anyway, Impact Open with a recap of Honor No More causing chaos last week, and D'Amore settling it with Rich Swann, Heath, and Josh Alexander. And then we go to the first match. Digital Media Championship ladder match between Brian Myers and Bhupinder Gujjar. Now, what I'm about to say is a little controversial.
We're about to share a similar opinion.
This was not a great match. This was not a bad match. I thought this was a wholly decent match, and I felt like Gujjar took a lot of punishment here, and I thought he was sold well and things like that. I think Brian Myers is a really good heel. I like the fact that Myers is keeping the title. I do hope that doesn't mean that this feud is going to continue. But what I'm going to say is, okay, not good, not bad. The match was kind of there. I think I was mostly pretty entertaining. Unfortunately, I didn't care. You know what I mean? I'm not into the feud, and then the climax happens, and I didn't care one way or the other, and that's a bad thing.
Mike, I agree with the vast majority of what you're saying. The match wasn't bad. It was better than I expected it to be.
Yes, 100%.
But I felt the same way. I just don't care. And now you've got the most overplayed gimmick in professional wrestling the last 20 years. The more overplayed gimmick match, I should say, is the ladder match. We can't have mediocre ladder matches, right? The standard of work in a ladder match is so high that doing it on, quite frankly, a throwaway impact and, quite frankly, a throwaway feud between, and I like Brian Myers, but they're kind of throwaway guys on this roster, it doesn't do anybody any favors, because I'll be honest with you, a month from now, we're not going to remember this match happened. And Bhupinder Gujjar got his ass kicked. He's bleeding all over the place. He took a ladder to the face for a 2.5 star match. You know, I'm not a star guy, but that's what it was. It was above average. It was fine.
Yeah.
But you can't do a fine ladder match. You can't do it. If you're going to do a ladder match on TV in this day and age, you have to do something special. And this wasn't special. Wasn't bad.
No. Or you don't even have to do like crazy high spots and do all this crazy stuff. That's not what these guys are. No. But the match and the story that you're telling has to be on point, and people have to care. And unfortunately, I just didn't think that we got that. And nobody really cared. No, some of the bumps were spectacular. I'll give them that. I've seen them 1,000 times, but I got to hand it to Bhupinder Gujjar. I did feel like by far it's his best match in Impact.
Yes.
And it's not even close. And so I was really, I like him a little bit better now than I did going into the match. Unfortunately, I feel like he's probably going right back down to BTI or something else because he didn't win. And I hope this means that this feud is over.
I respect him for this. I really think that he showed some guts and some balls in this match. The problem is Brian Myers is a heel character. Brian Myers is a comedy heel character.
Yeah.
Right. Like this just doesn't work with any of this. I mean, like, and the effect these guys killed themselves, and I kind of was just like, it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gotcha. Let's see. Oh, our friend Josiah McDonald was the guy doing the recap. So let's see what he said.
The good pastor.
The good pastor. He said that Gucci looks like he broke his nose and helped him get some sympathy as the crowd started getting into this. I agree. Myers pulled the title down, retaining. He said it may have been time to call an audible here and make Gujjar, but alas, started slow, but it was a decent match. I think he hit it on all points. I disagree. I think it's okay to keep it on Brian Myers because I don't think Gujjar's ready yet.
I love Josiah, but I really want to strike the phrase "call an audible" from all of professional wrestling. I love Josiah. I love you.
Yeah.
The idea that we should throw away all our plans because this particular audience happens to have an affection for what's going on in this moment is not a good one, right? No. Like the idea to scrap. Okay, we got these plans. Let's scrap everything we're doing because it'll get us a moment in a match it'll get us a small pop in a match that doesn't matter. Like, who cares?
Yeah, when you call an audible, okay, if the champion gets hurt and he knows like, hey, this is gonna be 9 months, and then you flip the title, okay, that's when you call an audible. Or when you're Ric Flair and you're in Puerto Rico and
you don't want to die.
If you don't drop the title, all the Dominicans, Dominicans, not Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
If you don't drop the title, they're gonna stab you. Okay, that's a good reason to drop the title at that point, and then you flip it back to them. But because there was 32 fans in Dallas that happened to like Gujjar, I don't think that would be the way to go.
Let's say that you tore your tricep off the bone and you're going to win the title anyway. Perhaps you think, hey, maybe I should tell them to call an audible because I'm about to make things a lot worse.
Yes.
Maybe there's a pontificating a hypothetical scenario.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just texting. I just wanted to tell Josiah that we just buried him because he sent us a thing saying, "Hey, you guys are going to read my recap tonight. So how was it?" I'm like, "Well, we buried you immediately."
If you can't bury your friends, who can you bury?
Right. Heath was backstage with Josh Alexander and Rich Swann. He owned up to causing Swann his match last week and then said that he needed to get on the same page to defeat Honor No More. Well, he caused them to lose the tag team titles. They were about to win, and he interfered and got them DQ'd. I still think Heath is turning heel, but man, they really liked Heath in Dallas tonight. They really did.
I think Heath is the most loved man on the roster. Like, honestly, if he had the title, he would be, it would make sense. And I'm not advocating it because Heath is Heath, but he gets those pops.
Send all of your tweets to @JD_Oliva for suggesting that Heath become world champion of Impact.
I just said it would make sense because I think he gets better reactions right now than Josh.
He does. I think the people like him. Mm-hmm. Knockout champion Jordan Grace beat the shit out of Ziggy Dice.
Woohoo! Okay. So, did you see the discourse this week with Lance Storm being like, "Well, what is AEW's identity if WWE was good?" And I know Lance is just kissing ass in WWE because that's what he does. And then, our good friend DJ Kai was like, "Well, what's Impact's identity?" And I got to thinking about it. It's actually a good question. Yeah. I don't hate the intergender stuff anymore because of that. Because I think it helps. Impact stand out from everybody else right now. To be honest with you.
Yeah. So intergender, not for me.
It's not for. I didn't say it was for me.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was for me. But I think
it is something that separates them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And certain trademarks also separate them. Ultimate X is that's like their thing, right? That separate. Okay, people don't like it sometimes. The King of the Mountain, that's what separates, Impact from a lot of other folks. And so, intergender thing, they were the first televised. I know other matches, like I know Disco wrestled Jackie, right? I understand that. I know Jericho wrestled China back in the day, but Impact was like the first televised company other than Lucha Underground, which that was more like a TV show versus a wrestling show. Mm-hmm. Impact was really the first company that kind of embraced that stuff. So
Lucha Underground was a telenovela with matches.
Yes.
I kind of miss it. I kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Well, Court tried to bring it back and didn't work. Sorry, Court.
Court.
James Mitchell cut a promo for the opponent Masha Slamovich picked to face Grace, who is Max the Impaler. And I thought this was a cool video package, and they actually used footage from NWA Power to introduce Max, and I enjoy that. I like the synergy between NWA and Impact. I think we need more of that.
Yeah, this was all right. I thought again, we do great video packages here in Impact. I think the best. I really do think the best.
Yeah.
Because WDBs are just so over the top and like over dramatic, and AEWs are fine when they decide to do them. But Impact this is just what we do here, and it was really good.
Speaking of really good, Mia Yim defeated Black Taurus, Alex Zane, Laredo Kid, and Trey Miguel in a 5-way match. This was one of those things where I was kind of like cringing, like Mia Yim. But then when Black Taurus hit her in the face with that damn headbutt, I was like, oh, he got her. And then I was like, and then all of a sudden, like Mia Yim just became one of the boys. And then I kind of forgot that it was an intergender. It was just like, oh, I'm just watching a match.
So it was like really, it was this match right after the Jordan Grace match that made me really think about the point I just made, because we went back to back with it, which I think is a choice. Like I think they could have spaced that out a little bit, but they chose not to. So it is what it is. But I think Mia Yim's one of the best workers on the roster, to be quite honest with you. She's and again, I don't love intergender, but they did a good job of making me forget for a moment. So I think this worked. I think this worked pretty good, actually.
Yeah. I originally wasn't looking forward to Mia Yim being in the Revolver match, but I think she worked well with these guys. I liked what they did here.
Me too.
And look, Zane's a bit sloppy, but I kind of like him in this company. So I think he's the guy that can probably keep around.
I agree. I think that Alex Zane got a lot of press by doing some silly GCW stuff, but I think that he is sloppy. But I think he can, he's kind of older than people realize. But I do think he can make some strides here, because he'll be working with people that, quite frankly, are better than who he's used to working with. Even because he was only in NXT. and he's done some stuff in Japan, New Japan Strong. I mean, like aside from the juniors, so I think he can improve.
Yeah, so do I. Eric Young and Diener were recruiting members for the Violent by Design, but then they beat the hell out of all of them.
Stupid.
And then they did this thing. This what is it? Was it this symbol?
No. It was this.
So they had their two. Sorry, this is bad radio. We're seeing each other on camera. So they got the two middle fingers up into a V-like thing.
That actually hurts my hand. So they can't do this because this is now Scissor Me Daddy.
Oh, right? So you think they care about that?
The Acclaimed, I do. The Acclaimed got this whole thing over. And by the way, they really did. That thing is.
They really did. Yeah, it's so stupid, but it works.
Stupid always works in wrestling.
It does.
People have to start admitting this. Stupid stuff always gets over. Always.
It does.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They. But yeah, so you can't do this. Well, this is also, unless you're Winston Churchill, this is peace. So. I don't know. Eric Young thinks about weird shit sometimes. This whole thing was dumb. Why did they wear yellow hoodies?
I don't know. Maybe was it like a callback to NXT? No, that was Bedby Gold. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, maybe they just got a discount.
Maybe because Violent by Design had those was yellow.
Oh yeah,
color. I just thought of that.
That's true. Maybe
I hate everything about this.
I was curious to see where this is gonna go. Don't care now. Really don't. Our friend Josiah, he said Diener and Young beat them all up while Amazing Grace played. I love Amazing Grace. It warms my heart. I love that song. Then that was weird. So I agree. But speaking of stupid,
Amazing Grace
gonna get over.
Oh, so I was saying, Amazing Grace is really good on the bagpipes.
It really is. But it kind of gets me emotional because the police and fire department, whenever they play that, it's like, oh, kind of gets me going. But so on that note, speaking of stupid, another Joe Hendry video aired, and I loved this one even more than the first.
Me too. It got me at first. I'm like, what am I watching here? And then about like 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, this is a Joe, because the accents tipped me off. I'm like, this is going to be a Joe Hendry video. And I laughed so damn hard. So hard.
Let me set the scene. So there's a couple arguing, and the wife tells the husband that she's trying to tell them that the baby that they have together is not his. And he's like, well, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And then they kick into the song, Here Comes Joe Hendry, just say his name. And then boom, they kick into I Believe in Joe Hendry. And I was just like, and then the couple dances, they forget that they're mad at him. And they start, and like the husband's struggling. He's like, I hate this guy, but I can't stop dancing and clapping. And then he even goes into air guitar when the guitar riff hits. I loved everything about this. Ridiculous.
Me too. Like, Joe Hendry might be my favorite. He hasn't had a match here yet, but he might be my favorite comedy wrestler in wrestling right now. Like, every time he's on screen, I can't stop laughing. So, so far, so good here.
He's great. And then somebody sent me a video of the time he wrestled Mr. Anderson in Scotland, I think in ICW. Okay. And he was doing a lot of these skits back then, and he would like sing songs, kind of like what Max Caster does today. So this would have been like 5-6 years ago. And he would actually make up songs about his opponent in little music videos before the match would even start. And then he would come to the ring. And the music video that he made and the parody song he made about Mr. Anderson was so damn ridiculously stupid and funny. I absolutely loved it. I think everybody should go out of the way to check it. Just put in your Google machine, Joe Hendry, Mr. Anderson, ICW, and it'll come up. But
I was going to say,
it was really funny.
Put it in the show notes, but that would give you more work. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of time. So the next match was a street fight between Heath and PCO. Heath came down to the ring. He had an open challenge for any member of Honor No More. PCO then answered the challenge, but as he's coming out, Honor No More said, no, you can't. You're not allowed. You don't get to make your own decisions. So they're still dragging this PCO heel or babyface turn out. And then Heath said a bunch of awful crap to PCO to get him to take the match, question his manhood. And then they went on to have, gotta say, a good match. Like probably the best Heath match since he's been in the company. I know, PCO's in the match, so you got to have plunder, but the plunder worked and the bumps were brutal. They did one scene where they were on the stage, and thankfully not a lot of people were in the audience. So they just had a lot of empty chairs. So Heath was able to throw PCO onto the place where if people had bought tickets to the show where they would have been sitting. Thankfully, they weren't there to get hit.
Thankfully, we didn't sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah, maybe it was strategy on Impact's part. Maybe they're like, let's hold back some of these tickets. But I thought that was really good.
PCO might be one of the best pure plunder wrestlers in the world. Like as far as his matches with sheer madness, I okay. So I don't like booking this and a ladder match in the same show, right? I don't like two gimmick matches in a TV show. But this put a glaring example of why this one worked and the other one didn't. Is we have emotional investment in Heath and PCO. Mm-hmm. So this works. Like without emotional investment, the gimmick of the match means absolutely nothing. And we saw that in the digital media match, and we see it here. Say what you want about Heath, I do every week, but he is beloved by this fan base. And PCO is a goddamn lunatic who fits here perfectly. So, and everybody loves him. Everybody loves PCO. What's not to love about PCO? He's your lunatic grandfather Frankenstein. Like, it's great. So this whole thing worked really well, actually.
Yeah, it absolutely did. At one point during the match, Honor No More came down to the ring to cheat, but then Rich Swann and Josh Alexander came down to equalize the situation, got rid of Honor No More, and then it was back to one-on-one, and Heath took over and got the victory. So good match, good stuff from those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
We go to what was basically the main event. It was a #1 contenders match between the Motor City Machine Guns and Aussie Open, and the Motor City Machine Guns won, and it's actually just been announced. Breaking news. Oh, should I do the thing?
Do the thing.
Should I do the breaking?
Do the thing.
Hold on.
Breaking news.
I made the thing do the thing.
Yeah, breaking news. At Bound for Glory, it's going to be the Motor City Machine Guns versus OGK for the Impact Tag Team titles, and I'm looking forward to that match. I think it's going to be a very good match.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, so what did you think of Motor City Machine Guns versus Aussie Open? What did you think of the match here?
It was awesome. It was great. Yeah. It's a shame that it's on a throwaway episode of Impact that I'm going to forget about in 3 weeks. Right? This is something that could be on a pay-per-view or something like that. Like it's just, I know you gotta do TV, right? You gotta have good stuff on TV. But I feel like Aussie Open are doing such good things in this country, and they're gonna be forgotten about because they're just in random TV episodes. Like they're so damn good, right? Yeah. I just want to see more.
The thing that's holding them back is that they're signed to New Japan.
Correct.
So they're not going to be full-time in Impact or AEW. So you're going to bring them in for a taping, and you're going to have 2 matches, right? And yeah, you're right. People are going to forget about it. Now, if they can get dates on the guys and keep them around for 6 months, then maybe they can do stories. But right now, I don't think they're going to do stories because I don't think they're coming back to the next set of tapings.
Counterpoint. Oh, play the thing. Play the thing. Oh,
yeah. Hold on. Fuck it. Let's go.
Brace for debate.
I made the thing. Play the thing. If you get these guys from New Japan for X amount of time, you can bring. If you're just going to have a match, right? Put it on a pay-per-view, put it on a PLE, put it on one of those things. Like throwing it in a random episode of Impact means it doesn't really matter. Like at least when they brought Will Ospreay into the US, we get a pay-per-view match with Orange Cassidy. People are still like, man, that was a really good match. I think that's the way to utilize these guys from New Japan that you don't have in all the time is shine a spotlight on them. Right? Because I would like to see this probably should have been on. And again, I don't know what the dates are, but they should try to make this work out. Our Victory Road special.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen.
If they were available for those dates, they should have prioritized it. They do have somebody from New Japan on Victory. They have Yui Mura. So, I mean, I don't think that would have been a barrier. Well, I'm just saying that just because Yui Mura was available, that doesn't mean Aussie Open was available. I'm just saying that there are New Japan talent available for the show because they have one. That's the point I was trying to make. No, I agree. I agree. And so it's like, if you're going to bring them in for random episodes, but it's not going to lead to anything, then, what are we doing? But I still like to see them. So I'm like, well, if this is all we get, then this is all we get. I'm still happy with at least getting them somehow. Right.
No, I'm with you. What I would have liked to have seen is Aussie Open kill. Oh gosh, do we have any tag teams anymore? Decay, something like that. You know, let him beat up Crazy Steve and protect Black Taurus, and then have the match with Motor City Machine Guns at Victory Road, which leads to the Guns challenging OGK at, Bound for Glory. You know what I'm saying? Or what?
Yeah.
I'm forgetting return. Yeah, Bound for Glory. Like that's what I would rather have seen. Again, are the dates working out? I couldn't tell you. All I know is, they work strong, which tapes bulk. So, I mean, they have some flexibility.
Yeah. No, I get you. Well, I hope that they do get to bring these guys back in. As of right now, they're not scheduled to be at Victory Road, so who knows where that's leading, but maybe they bring them for Bound for Glory. Who knows? I have no idea, but I would like to see them more often. But yeah, good match. A lot of cool stuff happening there. Next, we go to Tasha Steele. She talked about her upcoming match at Victory Road against Killer Kelly. And Kelly was there asking if she wanted to play. JD, thoughts?
Nothing that won't get me in trouble. Impact clearly knows what they're doing. Killer Kelly clearly knows what, Killer Kelly has a grasp on her character, which is like, okay. So, like, remember the Divas era when they tried to do sexy and everything was like, bimbo stupid kind of stuff? She has this like sultry femme fatale thing going that's like, I guess sultry is probably the best word I could think of. It's not like insulting or stupid, but it's still really pretty sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unique to pro wrestling, and I like it not just on a a horn dog level, but just on like a storytelling level. I think it's really good. I think it's unique, and I think she pulls it off better than like 99% of competitors out there. She's really good at what she does.
So she became the character, right? And she's doing a good job with it. Like, I don't feel like she's putting on a front. I feel like when I'm watching her, that is who she is, right? So that's, and I think that's important whenever you got a unique character like that.
Absolutely.
Next, we go to Gisele Shaw backstage talking about Friday's match with Mickie James, saying that James was going to pass the torch to her. So we'll see. Maybe Mickie James retires tomorrow. So
I doubt that.
I doubt it too. All right, so we go to the main event segment. It was a contract signing for the barbed wire match for tomorrow night between Moose, Sami Callihan, and Steve Maclin. Sorry, I lost my brain there for a second. So JD, what did you think about this one, and how did it go?
It's Sami doesn't come out at first. Sami's doing the whole mind games thing. So Moose and Maclin are in the ring, shit talking to each other. And it's fine. It's stuff we've heard before. Then Sami comes out, does his thing. He's got He's gonna sign the contract with a barbed wire pen. He's got a pen wrapped in barbed wire, and he puts his hand around it, and then he makes like a fist around the pen, so he's gonna sign it like a kindergartner, like when they have to hold the pens and they sign, they like write with or color with the big fist. That's what he was gonna do. And then Maclin stabbed him in. Okay. They said he stabbed him in the head with the pen, but a pen is like little tiny. So really you poked him in the head with the pen. But Sami sold it like he got shot. And then Moose and Maclin fought, and Sami came up a bloody mess from a pen, mind you. A pen. And then, Sami, Moose goes for the spear, misses it. Sami beats them up, takes the contract, wipes his face with the blood, and signs it. They said he signed it in blood. He more like put a handprint on it, like in Castaway when they made the volleyball. It was more like that.
Is that a valid payroll signature? You think that would hold up in court?
Okay, if X is a valid payroll signature, then a bloody handprint can also be, because your fingerprints are also on that. So I think it counts.
That's good.
It made for an all right visual. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I laughed when they sold the way Sami sold getting hit in the head with a pen. Like, if you ever poked yourself with a pen, you go, ow. And then you move on. You don't act like you've been mortally wounded, which is what Sami's good at doing. But it made for a good visual. So I hate contract signings.
Me too. That was the point. I'm done with them. If I never see another one, I'd be happy with that. So, but you sent us something. I did in the BFI chat. Somebody posted an old press conference that was on TNA circa 2016 between EC3 and Bobby Lashley. It might have even been earlier.
Yeah, that was great.
I think that was cool. And I remember the press conference between Rich Swann and Kenny Omega leading up to Rebellion a couple of years ago. That was also cool. Like, let's switch it up a little bit. Why do we just had the contract signing between Alex Shelley and Josh Alexander just a month ago, and now we're doing another contract signing segment again. Can we switch it up a little bit? And is the contract signing between these three guys for a barbed wire match really the way to go? I know it was a hold harmless, like making sure that Impact is not being held liable. I get they're trying to switch it up a little bit, but come on, give us some variety here.
So I want to see more press conferences in pro wrestling, because what we've been doing for so long, like WWE set this template in like 1998, 97, 98-ish, that I think pro wrestling has stayed married to for far too long. Like Dynamite, Impact, like everything is still very much formatted like Raw would be back in the day. So I think the more we can utilize press conferences. Cody tried to do the weigh-in and it didn't work. I think the problem is they tried to do it in like a ring. They should have done it like at like one of those press events that Tony Khan likes to do, or like one of those autograph shows, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And I hate to bring the guy's name up again, but the way what Aki Bono and the Big Show did before WrestleMania years and years ago, they did like it was like a legitimate, and then they had a bunch of kayfabe photographers down there, and they did like a legitimate weigh-in. But Cody and Anthony Ogogo tried to do it in the ring, and they didn't actually have the scale wasn't calibrated and all this and that. They had a bunch of issues.
Well, rings give.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's like when if you want to mess with your weight and you got a scale, you put the thing on a floor that has give to it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that. Like,
well, it's clearly, I would say that they never knew anything about combat sports, but that's not true because Anthony Ogogo is a boxer and Cody was like a high school wrestler, like an All-American.
A good high school wrestler. He's a state champ in Georgia.
State champion, sorry.
But I mean, like, I don't think it's like those things you get excited about the idea and you just don't think about it until you're in the moment. You're like, yeah, this was dumb. Like if they'd have done it on the stage, it could have worked. But like, I think that one thing that makes New Japan so cool is the fact that they utilize those press conferences to do their promos. And it gives it such a sports feel that I want to see. Well, let's be frank. What's been the biggest promo of the year is going to be CM Punk's meltdown in a press conference.
Yeah.
So
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, I think that's what we should utilize from everywhere from now on. Make that cliche because at least it's different.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd just be hilarious. I don't know if Josh has the chops to pull it off, but maybe they do a press conference between Eddie and Josh heading into Bound for Glory, and Josh is like upset and perturbed. He's like, I got this empty-headed dumb fuck named Eddie Edwards going into business for himself. I don't know that Josh can pull that off, but I think that would be pretty funny. Maybe at one point Eddie brings up Ethan Page, and Josh gets all hot about it. That would be hilarious.
You know who does have the charisma to pull that off, but unfortunately he's doing stupid shit right now is Eric Young.
Yeah. No, he 100%. 100% he can pull it off.
It's a shame. But yeah, no, I just want to see press con. I mean, I'm kind of over the visual, the promo, and getting in the ring. I just want to see some variety. I want to see some variance. Yeah. Like I remember like the Crockett shows. They do the promos behind the backdrop. I want to see something different sometimes. You know.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I totally agree. So before we head into, hold on just a second, before we head into our Patreon, let's just go over real quick. We'll go match by match on Victory Road. So Victory Road, we'll start from the bottom. First match on the show, we got the Motor City Machine Guns versus Vincent and PCO just announced, right before we went on to air. What do you think about this? I mean, we already know who wins, right?
Yes, the guns are going over. We're gonna go further into the which is fine. It's gonna do two things. We're gonna move the guns closer to the titles, and we're gonna keep the wedge between PCO and I don't know more. So it works.
Yeah, perfect. Triple threat revolver match. We got Kazarian, Kenny King, Laredo Kid, Alex Zane, Mia Yim versus Trey Miguel versus Black Taurus versus Yuya Uemura. In the X Division revolver match, the winner gets a title shot at Speedball Bailey, presumably at Bound for Glory. Can I go ahead and make my prediction first?
Go for it.
And if you disagree, we'll hit the brace for debate button. I think Frankie wins. I think Frankie gets the victory here and heads to Bound for Glory to go against Speedball.
I can't argue that. I was gonna say maybe Mia Yim because she won tonight, but I think it might just be to legitimize her a little bit in the match. Yeah, Frankie. I was gonna say they haven't really done much with Frankie on the show, but he's Frankie, so you don't need to do much to build. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would give it some interest. To be honest with you, I want to see that match. Yes, I'm with you. Yeah, no debate necessary.
No debate necessary. Killer Kelly versus Tasha Steelz.
Me.
Who you got?
Oh, I win. That's who wins. Killer Kelly.
Yeah, I think Killer Kelly's gonna take that one. They're building her, folks. All right, Josh Alexander, Heath, and Rich Swann versus Eddie Edwards and the OGK. I have a bold prediction. You want to hear it?
Yes, please.
I think Eddie Edwards pins Josh here with help from Heath.
I think Eddie Edwards pins Josh is the safe way to build interest in their title match.
Yes.
And I think that's what we will do. I don't think we will do anything overly creative because that's just not what we do right now. Right?
Right.
Everything is very safe, paint by numbers, 2000s pro wrestling right now. So I think by having a Heath turn, which you've been advocating for quite some time, would make sense. I do not think it will happen, though. I'm just going to say, with interference, Eddie Edwards pins Josh.
I think right now the feud between Josh and Eddie is cold, and I think they need a bigger hook. They need a bigger hook, and so Eddie at least needs to get the victory over Josh
because we're not creative.
That's true. Mickie James versus Gisele Shaw. Is Mickie going to retire
on a Friday night show that is not going to be watched by many people? No,
absolutely not. Mickie James takes it too easy. X Division champ Mike Bailey defends against Ring of Honor booker Delirious.
Legend. They keep throwing this term legend around. And I'm like, do people actually watch Ring of Honor? Like, is Speedball going to win? It's just weird. The reverence paid to Delirious disturbs me. I've said it before. It bothers me. I know Josiah, like, oh, he'd be a great guy to have on as the booker. And you and I are both like, whoa.
Oh, are we going to bury Josiah?
No,
are we going to bury the pastor twice in one episode?
No, we're just going to say we disagreed. He liked the stable. He liked the stable presence that Delirious brought to Ring of Honor. I disagreed. I said it made for boring television. And he's like, well, I can't argue that. So again, like he enjoyed the big action of going to the Ring of Honor shows, which was great. I like watching wrestling on TV. I want to see ankles, quite frankly. That's what gets me interested.
Yeah, and then eventually he brought in Bully Ray to help out, and that just fell flat. I think Bully Ray was not a good booker or a good creative mind. So then they had the Angelina Love and the whole deal over there with that. So, and then at one point they brought Enzo and Cass in for one night, and that just totally backfired on them. So, like, it seemed like they were trying to do stuff outside the normal bounds of Ring of Honor, but everything they do would just fall flat and fail. So.
It's like when they we're both drinking Coke Zero night. Like in the 80s when we were kids, Coke famously changed their formula and everybody went, what the fuck? So I think that people don't want Ring of Honor to be WWE.
Yeah.
Even if the new one, Tony Khan's trying to get the new one going, don't, do something different. Don't make Ring of Honor AEW. Don't make it another AEW show. Have it have its own identity.
Totally agree. Knockouts champion Jordan Grace versus a newcomer Max the Impaler in an on-title match.
Jordan Grace is going to do some crazy strong stuff to that gigantic Max the Impaler. So
Max is not a small wrestler. Max, I think, could I wouldn't say sorry. I'm trying to learn a little bit. I wouldn't say that Max is as strong as Jordan, but Max is kind of a powerhouse, as well.
It is unfair to compare them to Jordan Grace because who is that strong?
Neither one of us. Hell no.
I mean, she's stronger than a lot of male wrestlers. Like she's something, which is going to be cool because she's going to get Max up in that pile driver that I forget what she calls her Made in Japan finish, but it's going to look really cool when she does it.
Yeah. And I do respect Max and I respect the pronoun. So I'm trying my best. So please, everybody give me a little bit of grace. I am learning. Bro. So
you're putting the effort.
But I do respect that. So please give me a pass on that. I didn't mean it. Then in the main event, we got Barbed Wire Massacre, Steve Maclin versus Sami Callihan versus Moose. This one's a difficult one for me to call because I think really none of them should lose, but I think any of them could lose and I wouldn't be surprised. So this one's a toss up for me. I think whoever wins this is going to be fine. It's not going to be a big deal. Whoever wins.
Moose over Maclin.
You think so? So the thing I had was I figured it was going to be Moose over Sami because they do keep Moose strong and Sami always loses. But I can see.
But this is his match.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's his match, but it was also Abyss's match, and I don't think Abyss ever won one of these things.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And I haven't thought about you said that, but Sami is kind of the new Abyss.
Yeah. It's like Sami and PCO are trying to, pick up the burden that has been gone since Abyss left the company.
Yeah, big shoes to fill.
yeah. But it looks like a pretty good card. I'm pretty hyped for it. I think the X Division Revolver match that's got my interest the most, and then I'm a sucker for an old school barbed wire match. So
the Revolver, I think, is going to steal the show. If it doesn't, we have problems. Don't get your expectations up too high for Speedball and Delirious. It will be fine, and people will be like, "Oh my god, it was fantastic," because no one's seen Delirious work in years, and he's fine, he's competent, but it's not going to be lights out. People will act like it is, because whenever Speedball does anything, people are like, "Oh my god, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen." Like, it'll be fine. The Revolver is going to be cool.
Yeah, Revolver gonna steal the show easy. All right, guys. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, or you're watching us on YouTube, or you listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, head over to Patreon for some more content. Go to patreon.com/FightGameMedia, and we are going to talk about an upcoming episode of BFI, which we don't know when it's going to drop, but because we haven't recorded it yet, but we're going to have a very special episode where we're going to do a kind of a fantasy booking episode. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to introduce some of the ideas. We've worked with John Muse, a creative genius. John Muse has given us some ideas. We got the brackets down, the talent pools for a Impact's version of the G1 or the Bound for Glory series. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And we also got some contract news regarding OGK and Maria Kanellis. So, but that's going to do it for us on the free feed. Patreon, stick around.